So do you ever wish you could just sort of speak into your phone and then have a task get executed? Well, this is how you can set this up, and this is all predicated on the having a VA kind of working your Podio in the back end. So if you're on the road and you wanted to make an offer to Ed Smith, you can just talk into your phone. That task will show up in Podio and then automatically tag the seller lead so that your VA can just immediately take action on that task. So there's two ways you can do this. You can have it so that you say the first name so it can actually pull up the lead, or you can have it set up so that you're sending a long form memo that you can bring into the system. A task will get assigned to your VA, and then the VA can listen to that message right from Podio.
Check, 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 check.
Okay, so I'll show you how to set this up. Let's first look at this Memos app. You all should have gotten this in your installation, but if not, it's super simple to set up. It takes 2 seconds. Just go create a new app and put in these 4 fields: memo title, single line, transcription, multi-line, and then status, new, action taken, and yeah, I guess action taken, new and action taken. And then this is a reference field or relationship field that ties back into your seller leads app. So that's it. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to get is the email address of your Memos app. So click on the gear, go down to email to app, and then first you're going to copy this email address right here. Just do Command C or Shift C if you're using a Microsoft, I think. And then you can control how the email gets mapped to this app by clicking on this right here. So the memo title is going to be the subject of your email, and the transcription is going to be the body of your email. So that should be automatically, and add files that are attached to emails. Save. Okay, so we've copied that. Now what you're going to want to do is email that email address to yourself. So just simply so you can get that email address on your phone. You can also use Evernote, but just email yourself that email address so that you can access it on your phone, because in a little bit we're going to be putting that email address in as a new contact. Podio email address. Boom, okay? So you're going to send that to yourself, and then you're going to go onto your phone. So this, I set this up, I have an iPhone, so you can use this in Siri, but basically you're just going to create a new contact like you would normally create a new contact, but name that contact Podio Memos, or even if you have a VA, you can name it your VA. And then add email address, okay, on your phone, and then just you're gonna pull up your email on your phone, copy that email address you just sent, the email address of your Memos app, and then put that as the email address for your Podio Memos contact, okay, and then click done. On the Android, it's the same process. Just add a new contact and add their email address in, okay. And the way we're going to send these out is using Siri. So on an iPhone, you can just hold down the button and you can talk to Siri. And with the Android, yeah, and here's what it looks like on an iPhone when you send an email. So we can do a test here. Email Podio.
What's the subject of the email?
Ed Smith.
Okay, what would you like the email to say?
Please follow up with Ed Smith in 4 days and see if he wants to take our offer of $50,000.
Okay, here's your email message to Podio. Are you ready to send it?
Yes.
Okay, I'll send it. What's next?
So that's how it looks in Siri, and you can see it already created the memo here. So I can go to that and just test it out, make sure it looks good. So you can set this up on Android using either Cortana, which is an app that's sort of like a Siri equivalent, or I think it's built into Droids. It's like a little speaker button here. If you open Google Now, and you can say things and perform searches and open apps, set an alarm, and send email. Send an email. Voice actions can be used to send an entire email. So it's the same thing. You're going to be saying email Podio memo, and you'll already have the memo's email address plugged in. Okay, so that's what it looks like on Droid. So that is how you set that up, and now I'll show you how to set it up so that it automatically attaches the lead. This is totally optional. It's very easy for your VA to just go in and search for that lead and just do it, but this is just another level of automation, and that's done in GlobyFlow. And I will show you quickly how to set that up, and then I'll show you how to set up long form voice recordings memos using IFTTT. Now this is a pretty cool system as well, but let's first briefly touch on that. Memos workflow. So I'm going to go to my tester workspace, go down to Memos, References Lead Memo. All that happens is when a new item is created, you run a search for items in another app, which I believe is this right here. And you're just going to choose the Seller Leads app, where the seller name contains the title that you just spoke. The title is the subject line of that email. And then you just update the lead category field, or the relationship field right here. Update that with the value of what you just pulled here. You can also have this automatically create a task for your VA to do this, or you can automatically set the task in Podio using the built-in workflows feature. So if you click on Manage Workflows, I believe even people that don't have paid accounts can create a new memo task. All you need to do is say Create Workflow, and this is what it looks like. You choose Memo Created, and you don't need to set any conditions, but you just say Create Task, and then you say New Memo, assign it to your VA, due today, and then just say please process and execute requested task, and assigning it to the proper lead if needed. So this way, every time a new memo comes in, your VA will get notified and she'll perform that task for you. Okay? This is just another way that you can automate things so that you don't even need to go into Podio. You just have your VA execute the things that you need to move your lead through to closing automatically. Alright, so let's talk about Ifft real quick. Ifft is if this then that. If you're not a member of this, definitely sign up right now. I'm going to show you how I set up a workflow where if I speak into my phone, if I leave a message on a phone number that they give you, it'll send in it'll transcribe that whole message and then send it right into Podio. Okay, so this is what that looks like. Since there's no direct connection to Podio, all you need to do is set up this recipe right here, and I can even share this with people. But it's quite simple. You just choose the phone option, then the email, Gmail option, and I'll show you how to, maybe I can publish this and then just share it with you. Or you can just search for it on IFTTT. It's actually called Note to Self. Note to Self. And then you just change the settings. So this number is the IFTTT number. And you need to set set it so that it recognizes your phone number. So the action is to send an email to, you guessed it, the Memos email address. The subject can just be whatever, Dan Memo received at, yeah. And then the body is going to be the message that gets transcribed via, from, and then it gives you the URL of the actual MP3 file, and then it attaches the MP3. And all this kind of happens automatically. You don't need to enter this stuff in. So it's pretty simple. You just choose the note to self recipe on IFTTT. This is sort of like Zapier, but for different types of apps and more like smartphone based stuff. So now I have it set up so that if I were to call that number, and I've saved this number right here in my favorites on my iPhone. So if I just go to my favorites, I can click on voice recorder. And it sounds like this.
You have reached Ifft. Please leave your message after the beep.
Just got off the phone with the seller that has the house on Oregon Avenue. Make sure to follow up with him tomorrow. I think he's a pretty hot seller, and he gets off of work at 5. So make sure to call him right around 5 o'clock, and let's set an appointment to go see that house. Thank you. And then you just click end, and then that's all you need to do. You just leave a voicemail, and that voicemail gets emailed to your app. It'll actually get emailed from your Gmail account, so you'll have a record of it as well. And it takes a little bit for it to come in, but it does eventually come into the system, and it'll show up in a similar way, but it won't automatically tag your seller because there's no email subject line. Since there's no email subject line like this one, it's not going to automatically pull it. But here's that new memo that just got created. We can check that out real quick by refreshing, just to make sure it worked. Here it is, and here's the transcription. It's pretty clear. It does a good job transcribing it. And then here's the message if I wanted to listen to it real quick.
Just got off the phone with the seller that has the house.
Boom. And then I have an automatic task for Joe to call this person back. Joe is my new VA. So that's pretty much it. You can have it set so that it's always selected as new whenever it comes in. You can do that on this workflow. You can say update this memo and then update this item where status value new, so that every time a new item is created, it's automatically tagged as new. So that's how you set that up. I hope you guys can figure out some cool new uses for this. We were thinking about maybe setting this up so that you can just say make an offer of $50,000, and then it'll make the offer on your behalf without even having a VA do it. That's a little bit, the technology still needs to be improved a little bit, but that's sort of the direction we're headed here. But if you have a trustworthy VA that you work with and you give them proper directions on how to execute stuff like this, then this is a great way to get stuff done while you're on the road or while you're at a property, so you don't need to go into Podio and do it yourself. So let me know if you have any questions, and I hope that was helpful.